Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Ow. My cat just bit me. I'm gonna cry. Anyways. Welcome back to Lookouts. Just a fun little, it's not a dating sim, it's a romance. Very different things. But a romance about two, I think, trans mask little guys in the desert working for criminal groups or whatever. And finding love and being iconic. So, just a little... I think last time we were just figuring out the lore of the town. We were looking for, like, gold or something. They were like, there's gold here. And everyone in the town's like, I don't know, I guess there's gold or something. They said, sure, maybe there's gold, I think. Nobody cares about that. Do not step on my power button. Bro, tell me why my cat is being an absolute menace right now. Girl, if you don't get down, come here. Here. Okay. You walk towards the saloon again, looking forward to having somewhere to rest. You don't remember the last time you actually stayed in a room somewhere. It was always a tent or just in your bedroll lying beneath the stars. You see Sheriff and Bartholomew standing on a porch of the saloon, talking intently, but you can't pick up any clear words on the wind. Sheriff notices you both as you approach, patting Bartholomew on the back as he takes his leave back inside. Sheriff leaves the shade of the saloon's overhang, walking with a purpose towards you both. The blue of the sky was starting to fade into oranges, pinks on the edge of the sparse, and tiny clouds overhead. My cat looks ugly. Why does she look like that? She's got her head like crushed. My chair can only go down so much. So she's trying to sit on my lap, on my desk that doesn't go, I'm on my desk chair that does not go down that far. So she's like squishing her head under the desktop. Stinky. You both slow to a stop as Sheriff approaches you quickly. The face approaching you was different from before. You see Joseph's face fall a little. Sheriff came to a stop in front of you both, twisting the cane in the dirt a little. Bro looks kind of mad. The old and frail figure standing in front of you was shaking a tad. You could hear slow and deliberate breaths from the chest. Like he was running or like he's mad? You know what I mean? The usual confidence and bluster off Joseph dissipates under the new glare of the sheriff's. Okay, mad. Got it. The new and sharp eyes, unlike those you had seen when you arrived. There was a tiredness in them, a fierce tiredness, beneath which was a wild look you'd only seen in the eyes of the newly grieving. Gripping the cane, scaled knuckles turning white. I'm not really sure how that happens. You know what I mean? Sheriff spoke in a low and calm voice. Uh-oh. Dude, we're in trouble. Bros, it's over. The music stopped and everything. We're dead. What do they say in, like, Disney movies? I don't know. I was gonna say, oh, guys, we're sunk, but I don't think that's what they say. Yeah, I should have known. Thought maybe I was wrong this time. Y'all seem so, I don't know, like you should be here. Even so, I knew there was something off with what you were asking. Is everything all right, Sheriff? We were just gonna see if we could stay at the saloon. Sheriff slammed the cane into the dirt with such a force you feared it might crack the earth beneath. You know damn well that things are not all right. I had a little chat with my friends around town, talking about the newcomers, what they'd been asking about. Just passing through town, give me a break. I should have known it was too good to be true. I know when I see the gold fever in them eyes. We're not here to cause trouble, Sheriff. We'll be on our way tomorrow morning. Really now? Well, Sheriff reached a... Oh. A free hand behind and pulled an old revolver to point at you. Damn. I'm gonna say this once and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna say it once. Hello. I made a promise to protect this town and the people who live here. That I would do what was right by them. Dude, he's gonna kill us! So both of you gonna turn tail and leave right now. And you're never gonna come back. And if I ever see either of you heading this way again, I will shoot you dead before nary fur or feather crosses that town line. You stood still next to Joseph, a small fear taking hold as you feel like the wind might knock you off your feet. Understood, Sheriff. Joseph started walking away, not stopping for you even as you stood there a moment longer, just to say one word. Sorry. You knew that it didn't make up for it, but it was all you could muster from your tight throat. You turned quickly and walked after Joseph, with your head down, staring at your feet as they rhythmically sped one after another through the dust tracks of the town you couldn't come back to. Well, yeah, asking a lot of dumb questions. Obviously, would have been figured out. The climb back out of the valley was quiet. The wind was the only noise to reach your ears. No words coming to pass between you and Joseph. Only the occasional meeting of eyes when he looked to make sure you hadn't fallen behind. Those eyes, that face you had grown accustomed to so quickly, to having at least the hint of a smile resting, was devoid of such emotion at all. He wasn't thinking about it. You felt. Wait, what? He wasn't thinking about it, you felt, but to not think about it meant to not think at all. So he didn't, his limbs carrying him up the path, but no one was home. You understood, of course, as much as you'd like to not think about it either. You couldn't ignore the small dread in your chest. Like it was in the cavities of your sides, seeping around and between your organs, a creeping tar. Not a suffocating tar, just making you feel heavy, dense. If you stopped walking now, you didn't know you'd start again. The sun was starting to dip into the horizon when you reached your original meeting spot at the top of the cliff. Both your horses were lying in the long shadows of some rocky mounds, your own shadow stretching across the sand as you go to tend to them. You both hauled your bedrolls off and started to unpack them, giving the horses some water and sorting through your belongings. Still without a word, a camp for the night quickly formed between you as you worked. Hey! That's a positive, I guess. Let's go. Joseph had brought a thin metal stand with him to hang the cooking pot over, and gently tossed you his book of matches as he erected it. You struck the match in a familiar fashion, placing it in the middle of the dried assortment, blowing gently to encourage the shy flame. Lifting your head back up from the budding fire, Joseph was having little issue getting his stand to Dan. Stand. Hello? Dude, I know I'm tired, but I'm not that tired. Like, damn. Guess I just suck at reading today. His face was still the same neutral, empty face from before, and he noticed a little catch on a joint that hadn't flipped properly. You brought your hand up to flick it out the way. Either the lurch of the stand falling into place or the momentary touch of your hand against his seemed to jolt Joseph out of his listless state. Thank you. A smile, just a small one, a weary and wary one, had returned to his face. You were glad to see it again. It was enough to make your chest a little lighter, the tar receding just a touch. Hey, the music's back. Go crazy. I was like, this is awkward. With the fire lit, a modest plume of smoke started billowing into the sky and scattering in the fading sunlight. Joseph got up momentarily to rummage in one of his saddlebags, coming back with a tin and some bundled cloth. I've got some beans and some salted pork, too. Not sure what you got with you. Oh, right, yeah, hold on. You had plenty of water still, and if he was propping up the bulk of the meal, you had some molasses to add, too. He brought them both over and let Joseph sitting on his bedroll. Huh? Oh, yeah, pause. I'm sorry. I know, you know what? No excuse. I'm a bad reader sometimes. These sentences specifically are the ones that confuse me the most, because by the time I get to, it's like a parentheses when you use like commas like that. Like, you brought them both over and let Joseph, parentheses, like just to add an extra note, sitting on his bedroll that he'd laid out now, take the reins. That's how you're supposed to read it. Some reason by the time I get to this sentence, I just forget what the fuck the first part of it was, and I go, huh? That doesn't make any sense. But it like does make sense because it's like a parentheses. It's a part of a statement to add more description to like what they're saying. I'm just a dummy. I'm just a dumb. I just need to die. Wasn't really a 2-person job. With the beans gently cooking away, now in the pot, He sat there, lazily stirring it with a spoon. He grabbed your bedroll and laid it out on the opposite side of the fire, squatting and dropping onto it with a thud, tucking your legs towards you. Resting your head on your knees, holding them in your arms. This art still is so cutie pie. The two of you sat like this a short while, watching the pot steaming away, the orange flames licking the underside of the well-used metal. You found yourself thinking about what happened in Clemency, without ever even realizing it. We kind of look like a mouse, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of giving squeak squeak. The pang you felt in your stomach when Sheriff knew why you were there. The sharp chill that shot from your neck to your tail when the gun was pulled on you. You weren't scared of being shot. That wasn't it. That wasn't what had set your palm into a cold sweat. It was something else. Something about having to leave that town. Sorry for letting you do so much of the talking today. I'm more the quiet type. Sure, you figured that out already. He flashed you a weak but genuine smile. Not like I did as much any good. It wasn't your fault, Joseph. Sheriff was paranoid and we were bound to be rumbled eventually. I mean, honestly, between the two of us, I really was the one who was not good at talking. This character, no subtlety whatsoever. Joseph is like, how did you guys get here? What's your story? And we're like, where's the gold? Where is it? Between the two of us, I think I'm the fucking culprit of, like, the sheriff figuring out that we're here for gold. Joseph's like, oh my god, how did you and your husband settle in? Like, how do you like the town? Like, what do you guys do around here for fun? And we're like, do you happen to have a gold mine, like, 2 miles from here? Is it full of gold? Do you know? When was the last time you've seen it? Do you have directions under, like, a map? 401k, social security number? Huh? What? Besides, it doesn't really seem like there's any gold here, unless we feel like setting up a new mining operation. Yep, I'm sure Black Vulture will love to hear that. Wasn't my fault, I'll say. He sighed, a sharp, exasperated exhale through his nose holes, one knee of his crossed legs fidgeting and bouncing as he stirred the pot. You were a little taken back that he seemed to be mocking what you said. Maybe it just wasn't what he wanted to hear right now. Still, you understood his frustration. What would your bosses think if we told him what this place was like? Would they even believe us? Sorry. You were snapped up from your thoughts by his apology, a slightly guilty looking look on his face, knowing you must have seen that he hurt your feelings a little. You're right. It's not my fault, exactly, but hell, this is a mess, Kay. His fidgeting was spreading, playing across the feathered fingers of his wings, his face, his eyes, and his knees again. Like a ragtime tune was playing all across the inside of his body. What's he like, Black Vulture? He's, his breathing was ragged, too. You got on your knees and reached out your hand onto his that was now stirring the spoon even now, a gentle but firm grasp stopping its motions. Your eyes met over the cooking pot. He looked like he was seeing you again for the first time in a long time. The shaking of his hand came to rest and relax, its vice grip on the long spoon as you held each other's gaze. Let go. I'm here. Oh. Let go. I'm here. It's all right. Sorry, I did not understand the context. He nodded a few times, taking his hand away and resting on his haunches, stretching his legs out. A few moments pass and Joseph regains his calm, laid-back demeanor. One leg still bounced a little, a quick rhythm, tapping a dance hall tune. This cute little horse. Fable worlds are so weird because they'll still have shit like horses and then like, but they're animals, you know what I mean? But the horses like don't talk, you know what I mean? I've always found that interesting how that works. The sun was almost gone now, the last dregs of the light in the desert turning everything in the distance a single dusty red. You could see the stars now as you looked to the sky, the light continuing to fade. More and more points of light dotting their way to the east. You turned your eyes away from the sky when you heard the sound of a penknife flicking open. Oh, don't mind me none. Just doing a little preening. He started taking a knife gently to his wing, very gently. He seemed to be scraping away old feathers while also opening new pine feathers scattered across the wing, in motions almost like shaving. Forgive me if I'm talking out of line, but why don't you just use your beak for that? Well, Mom always told us you don't gotta use your beak for things around anyone other than family or lovers. It ain't polite. He seemed a little sheepish admitting it, like it was an uncommon quirk of his family. You asked about Black Vulture, yeah? Don't you know the stories already? Yeah, but those are just stories. I know what it's like riding with someone with a few tall tales trailing behind him. Joseph snorted a little, still making his way across his wing with a small knife. Yep, sounds about right. Pretty sure some of the flattering ones I've heard were left behind by the vulture himself. You settled on the side of your legs a little, getting more comfortable as you kept stirring the ever-cooking pot. Where to begin with that man himself? Jeez. He's a real piece of work, that one. I can tell you that much for sure. He's a city slicker that considers himself a cowboy, even though he hates getting his boots dirty. Acts all gentlemanlike and such. A real flannel mouth. What does that mean? He'd charm the pants off you if he had something he wanted. Then, when he's got what he wants, he jabbed the knife towards you pointedly. He'd stick you in the back and twist it to hear you cry. He turned the knife back to preening. He's a terrible shot, too. And there's some stories that he could shoot the cap off a bottle without spilling it from 50 paces. But he ain't a sharpshooter. Never. He's almost as bad a shot as me. Got someone else for that. See, that's how you run in his posse. You make yourself indispensable. He tapped his knife on the ground through the word to make his point. His gang on the smaller side, but they're plenty loyal. They need to be. There can't be anyone else. You're loyal, then? I'm the eyes. I'm useful. I get on good with a lot of them. The Black Vulture keeps me around. Win-win. You understood what he was saying, what he meant, what he really wanted to say. You understood how it felt to be under that kind of looming shadow. No one for miles around, but don't say anything, just in case. You'd see what happens to other people. You both had, for sure. Joseph was as far from a greenhorn as could be. He swapped his hands and started taking the knife to his other wing now. So what about Curly Wolf? You said there were plenty of tall tales about him. Split fair with me. You didn't look at him when he asked you. You kept looking at the pot, peeking over to check the beans. This looks about done to me. Joseph stared at you for a long moment when you didn't meet his eyes, and then closed up his knife, kneeling over to look with an approving whistle. Whew, looks good to me. You laughed a little as his stomach gave a hearty growl, fetching the bowls and holding them while Joseph served you both a big slopping portion. Disgusting description. I don't like the word slopping for a meal that I'm about to eat. It sounds gross. Night had come now, and you both gather a little closer to the fire and move the pot stand to the side. You could see him easier now, with it out of the way. With the pot lifted, the fire rose, dancing in the wind, sometimes hazing your view, the blur flitting in and out as you glanced eyes while you ate. Glanced eyes? I don't know what that means. Believe it or not, but I ain't the cookie back at the camp. Someone else got that privilege. He was clearly joking, but the beans were some of the better you'd had. Oh, the cook. Oh, I get it. Cookie, like the person who cooks. I was like, what? I was like, okay, like you're like not the favorite. I was like, so you're not the favorite? Like, what does that mean? I never would have guessed. I don't cook that often, but I make some mean donuts from time to time. Oh, do you now? I'll have to try them then. I hope so. It was so selfish to ignore his question, to say nothing about Curly Wolf. So rude of you. You weren't raised like this. You couldn't, though. Never. Or more like you didn't know what to say. How many years had it been now? Sorry, I should have said something when you asked about my boss. I get it. No, I mean, of course you do, but it's also that when I said I was the quiet type, it's more than that. If I'm shooting straight with you, I don't remember the last time I heard my own voice before today. At the camp, I might say yeah or no, but I don't really talk. when I'm away on a lookout, there's just no one to talk to, and I don't want to talk to myself and just be reminded that I'm alone. I've never talked about him. I wouldn't. Joseph looked straight at you, even into you. Into you, it almost felt like. You could see the fire between you and his eyes, flames fluttering across the irises. The intensity of his look gave way to something like relief. Nah, don't worry about it about being a quiet one. I think it's part of your charm. There's also lots of wannabe tough guys who want to act like you with no sweat. That strong, silent act. Besides, guys back home are always telling me to shut up. Not that I give them the satisfaction. I can tell that you being quiet doesn't change things. Same horse shit regardless of whether you make a fuss. You sigh a long sigh. What words could you even use for a man like him? Curly Wolf is a bad egg? I think sometimes he was born like that. I know he can't have been, but I don't know what godforsaken things happened to him to turn him into what he is now. He's probably one of the most meanest, roughest bastards you'll ever have the misfortune of meeting. Anyone you can think of that you wouldn't want to run into, he's worse than that. I don't know about Black Vulture, but the stories Curly Wolf leaves behind, I don't think they even match up to how dangerous he is. I've seen him gun down traitors riding away on horseback 200 paces away. It's easy to get his dander up, and he's the last person you'd ever want to do that to. He'd make sure of that. Not the brightest you'd ever meet, but his instincts are keen. He's never made an empty threat, and he'll happily get his hands dirty to make good on him. Shit. Black Vulture said before that he'd be willing to pick a fight with Curly Wolf, but they've never met. Now I'm wondering if he has any idea what that would get him into. He ain't stupid, but he's definitely too cocky for his own good. I'll eat your bowl before it gets cold. Nothing worse than cold food. You did as he said, mulling over what you talked about while you ate. Joseph had a head start on you, but even so, his eating was voracious, and he finished it before you were even halfway through yours. Bro, me and my roommate for real. We did that. Oh my god, do you guys remember that that TikTok trend or whatever, where you eat at the pace of your partner? Bro, we tried that because she's like a hella fast eater and I'm a hella slow eater. It was torture. I don't know how she fits so much food in her mouth, and I know she hates how slow I eat because I'm a slow eater. I take my one bite, I get a nice long chew in there, I swallow, take a break. Take another bite, long chew, take a break. He sat back from his hunch over the bowl, wiping his beak on his arm. He looked around some, into the fire, out into the darkness of the desert, at you. You could tell he didn't want to stare, but his eyes took you in anyway, with long glances. He coughed, clearing his throat to stall for the words he was thinking of. Say, Kay, I wanted to ask. He grabbed his knife again, taking it to his wing once more, looking away as he asked a common question. Your arm, I hope you don't think me cruel for asking, but what happened? Did he do that to you? You're pretty used to the question about it, but you appreciated the genuine warmth behind his words at least. This whole thing? Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I was practicing. It was a practical joke of sorts, if you'd call it that, by some guy during a camp. Took my bandana and shoved it in the mouth of one of those horses. Egged me on to get it back. Reached my hand in, and of course, the hoss gets all antsy and bites down, start thrashing and trying to get away. I don't remember much after that, blacked out from the pain. Next thing I know, I'm being hauled to some doctor. Told me they had to amputate for it putrefied. Joseph had stopped preening at this point, looking at you with some real watery eyes and soft expression on his brow of both anger and horror. Got the bandana back, so, win some, lose some. I'm sorry. Nothing to be sorry for. Long time ago. You just live with it. Full and finished, you set aside your bowl, taking another appraisal of your surroundings, looking up to the sky and its carpet of stars. It was quickly starting to get cold, so you got up and went to your horse, fishing some of the blankets out for them. Looking inside the bag, you couldn't find your usual extra blanket for yourself. Shit, must have forgotten to take it before you left. You spied your binoculars in there, you took them and walked to the edge of the cliff again. You're about to put them up to your eyes when you realized you didn't need them to see what was happening in Clemency. Oh, wow. Throat's feeling mighty nasty. The whole town was dark except for the bright lights prominently shining from the saloon. You saw the shallow silhouette of people dancing play out across the street in front, and you listened very if you listened very closely, music. Seems like they're having a ripping roar of a time. Yeah, I wonder if they would do it tonight. Like Bartholomew mentioned. Why wouldn't they? What have they got to be worried about? His voice was a little cold, blunt. Ice cubes in a drink bump in your teeth as you sip. You know, out of all the towns I've been kicked out and run out of, this is the only one I'd want to come back to. This place ain't for us. We're trouble, okay? We're no good for these folks. Tomorrow we'll be gone, we'll tell our bosses we didn't find anything, and if we're lucky, they'll just go on their way. Maybe in another life, we could have gone back there, and it would have been nice. But this is our life, our only one. It is what it is, we move on. That's how we live. You could feel the wind blowing behind you, ruffling your trousers, whistling past your ears as it seemed to push you towards the edge of the cliff. Yeah, I guess it is. The wind kept howling, picking up and dying down, whistling off the valley and kicking up clouds of dust around the buildings below. Curly Wolf is going to ransack this place, even if they don't have anything. And what do you want me to do about it, huh, Kay? It's not my problem. You feel now the desert night on you. Your fingers, the tips of your ears, starting to feel the tenderness of cold in the wind. You were shivering. You shouldn't have talked back to him. You knew how that always went. It never ended well. You just made him feel worse, like it was his fault. Why should he have to listen to your stupid concerns? It was your shit to figure out. He owes you nothing. You just met. You don't know each other. If it weren't for convenience, you would have shot each other hours ago. You heard the sound of shuffling behind you as he got up. He started walking towards you. Here it came, as you knew it would. You tense up as he approaches, closing the distance, expecting the due danger. Closing your eyes when you feel him at your back, ready for the blow that's coming. You flinch when you feel a weight around your shoulders. A squeeze of them that you expected to hurt, but it's so tender it couldn't possibly. Opening your eyes, you see a thick blanket draped around you down to your knees. You looked cold. Don't want to get consumption, just standing there. You know how cold the desert gets. You drop the binoculars gingerly, by its strap to the floor, now clasping the edges of the blanket with your hands tighter around you. You could feel how cold your fingers were just below your chin, almost numb. How long had you been standing there for? I'm dreadfully sorry. You got nothing to be sorry for. You and he sat back down by the fire, Joseph giving it 1,000-yard stare. Thank you. Nothing to it. Get warm. You pull the blanket tighter again, the desert chill still sweeping underneath. Are you not cold? I've been around the fire all night, haven't I? I'm fine. He's lying. You can see his feathers twitch and shiver, but he's trying hard to hide it. You wonder the truth of what he said, too. That we just had to move on. Standing up with the blanket, you walk around to the fire, standing over him. A moment as he looks up towards you with wide eyes. You sweep the blanket around him and sit down, shoulder to shoulder. You were right. He's definitely cold, but a lot warmer than you'd imagined. Well, things that are alive do tend to be warm. Ah! Cute! It's so cute, boy. They're so cutie patootie. I'm gonna kill myself. They're so cute. Wah. Ah, it's cute. I told you I'm fine. Don't give me that blow, tough guy. I know you're not. He looks like he's gonna say something, but he shuts his beak. Suddenly, he seems a lot warmer. I'm sorry, I didn't mean what I said. I know. It wasn't the fella I've been around all day. I'm just scared. He nods softly, as to almost be unnoticeable. Yeah, more scared than I've ever been. Together you huddle, bringing the blanket tighter and tighter, and moving closer to each other. He smells like the desert, dusty and sweaty. Why is this so warm? Why do you feel like this? Not warm like you're around a fire, but there's a fire inside you. Warm coal shifting around inside the embers, spitting in your throat. Have you ever felt like this before? Joseph, He looks at you, your faces so close together. You lean your head into his shoulder, staring into the wild dance of the fire. I haven't met someone like me before, or someone like you. You're extremely kind, even to a stranger like me. I wish I could know you more than these few hours. I know I have to ride back in the morning, but of all the hopes I've hoped, the strongest is that I could just stay here. That the sun would never rise. I don't want to go back. You stay clinging to him. After a few moments, he pulls you tighter. I have to say I feel the same way. I can see in you someone who's faced many hardships. Someone who deserves better. Who worked harder than any of those lump slackers back where you come from. We're a couple of queer fish in a barrel, I'd say. Lord knows how we found each other. The sun will come up again and we'll have to go our separate ways, but we don't have a choice. I just wish it wasn't so. I wish. You lift your head and look at him, but he just gives you a look and turns back to the fire. What are you thinking? He sighs wearily, like he'd been asked to carry the world on his back. It's a flight of fancy, that's all. It's not realistic. You look at him curiously, catching his eyes. He looks at you almost for approval before he thinks about what he wants to say. I wish we could run away, that's it. Just the two of us, far away from everyone and everything. Right east until no one's chasing us. That sounds nice. You both cuddle for a little while longer, sitting close and resting your heads together. The thoughts of running away take over in your mind. Is that what you want? As if he could read your mind, Joseph asked, what do you want to do? You thought more. No one ever really asked you that. And even so, you knew what you wanted to say. I'm tired of running, Joseph. I want to fight. I want to kill Curly Wolf. Damn! I thought it was just going to be like, I want to live a peaceful life with my eagle boyfriend. No, he wants to kill that bitch. I want to kill that guy. Really? It's the only way I can think to be free of him. You know as well as I do that you don't get to just up and leave. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be free of Black Vulture too, but do you think that's something that you could do? Kill him? I can't do it alone. Our gangs, Joseph, they're gonna destroy this town. And after, if we ran away, we'd never be safe. We'd be looking over our shoulders for the rest of our lives. I don't want to run away from things anymore. I want to run towards a better life, with you. Joseph's eyes were sympathetic, but his expression was of discomfort. I think you're right. And I do want to help you, but I'm useless in a fight. I can't shoot straight. I don't want to die, Kay. I wouldn't let that happen. I'll keep you safe. We can keep each other safe. We haven't been living our lives, Joseph, just surviving. Something better than that is worthy of dying for, I think. A fight feels inevitable. We should face it. You're really that desperate to get out? You nod, head held against his shoulder. He sighs that same sigh again, long and heavy, almost theatrical if it weren't for the stakes laid out before both of you. I think you're right. A chance like this won't come again. I might even be tempted to call it fate. We should talk to the sheriff again. I think somehow, if we can. He yawns. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we ain't gonna figure it out when we're both bone tired. We should get some sleep. Come morning, we'll talk more. Figure something out, and then hope on a kiss and a prayer that we'll make it out alive? He chuckles. Ain't that the story of our lives? This will be the last time we'll have to fight like that, I swear it. You both fall asleep against each other, dreaming of that promise, praying for a better tomorrow and willing to fight for it. Hell yeah. Let's kill that guy. Kill him. What is that? Kill John Lennon. Yeah, just for a reference, I don't know who John Lennon is. I think I do, but I'm not sure. So it wasn't the red morning sun, now just risen above the horizon, that had woken you. Nor was it the gentle slumbering breath of Joseph against your neck, doing its best to lull you back to sleep. What woke you wasn't even the familiar crick at the base of your tail from sleeping on the bedroll, a stiffness you couldn't wait to stretch out. It was your thoughts. All the thoughts in your mind. Like so many wild horses running of what may come next. What you both had to do. The nights spent out on a lookout were better than the sleepless nights back at the camp, but you still dreaded the dawn that came after. At least you had Joseph this time. At least you had him for what was to come, you hoped. You could feel one big wing of his wrapped around your stomach, shifting as he started to wake too now. As much as you wanted to keep lying here with him for just a few minutes more, you knew you had to get up. Coffee wouldn't brew itself. Hey, go crazy to the music. I don't know if the music's too loud. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit. Little bit. Okay. Hopefully, now! Okay. You peel back the blanket a little. As little as you could to let yourself escape, gingerly untucking Joseph's fingers from your side. Sliding off the bedroll and through the dirt, you let Joseph's arm down gently. Crouching low on your knees, you gave his hand a gentle squeeze, feeling the soft, dry, dusty feathers beneath your fingertips. Holding this moment in your head, that it might stay here. You stood up, dusting yourself off everywhere you could. Time to get ready. Even with Joseph here, your morning routine was mostly the same. Just doubled, you suppose. Feed and water the horses, both of them. Make a pot of coffee, double the amounts, though. Let's brew it for a little longer, too. On the same fire as you'd used last night together. You kept thinking while the coffee boiled. There were so many things you didn't have time to think about yet. Even so, unimportant thoughts still rose. An unimportant thought that kept bubbling up now was how nice it was to not have the usual knot in your stomach. The tightness that twisted every time at camp when you had to get food or a drink, to use the same tools and the same space as others. It was nice to not have to worry about that right now. You thought about sharing this. Joseph wouldn't complain about having to get coffee from the same pot as you. He wouldn't get angry that you were handling his stuff. Could it have always been this easy? Your stomach rumbling snapped you from your thoughts. Of course you'd forgotten breakfast. You went back to your bag and unracked some salted pork, holding it between your teeth and tearing a chunk off. You always liked how chewy it was when you weren't in a rush. The rhythm of your jaw grinding it up helped you think. Possibilities were rolling around in your mind, dice cast along the branches of a tree. How things might play out. Although you couldn't just keep it to yourself for now, for better or worse, this was about the two of you. There was both weight and comfort in that thought. As you watched the pot start to bubble and steam, you heard the sound of sleepy shuffling, turning to see a waking Joseph. He looked so small. He was propped up on one elbow, blearily trying to figure out what was in front of him, rubbing his eye with one winged hand. You saw his pupils contract to the morning sun that was getting brighter and brighter, focusing on you. Good morning, partner. Is that the sweet smell of coffee a-brewing? Not sure I'd call it sweet. You looked into the pot of the dark brown tar-like substance, forgetting the large snoutful you got of its acrid. There we go. Acrid bitter scent. It's hot. I can't wait. I'm just a little guy. I'm just 2 feet tall. Well, the idea's sweet to me, at least. Stuff's damn near magic as far as I'm concerned. With surprising energy for someone who had just woken up, Joseph whipped the blanket off of him, standing and dusting himself off. You watched still as he stretched. His fingers locked together, wings pushed and pulled in front and behind. The way his feathers of his neck parted and ruffled as he rolled his head around his shoulders. The hem of his shirt, usually tucked in, now loose after a night's sleep, rising ever so slightly as he twisted his body. Whore! I'm playing. I'm joking. He sighed when he finished, wings on his hips as he met eyes with you. What are you looking at? Nothing. Uh-huh. A shy smirk crept across his face as he tucked his shirt back in and walked over to you. What you eating? Salt pork. There's some in my bag if you want. I think I will. Thank you kindly. Can you get some cups too? This coffee's about done. You look behind you at Joseph, crouched as he dug through your bag, giving you a quick thumbs up. You turned to the pot again and stirred it with the spoon a little. Joseph came back around and sat beside you, setting 2 tin cups on the ground with one hand. His beak tore at the piece of jerky in the other hand, hungrily swallowing it down after a few chews. He picked up the pot and poured you both a hot cup. Cop? Help! Help me! Help me! Eagerly tapping his cup with yours before drinking. Cheers. You both sip quietly. You can feel the heat of the coffee traveling all the way down your gullet, burning in your belly. How did you sleep? Good, like a pup. Didn't wake once. What animal are we again? Are we a fox? Either way, I can't remember. So I literally think we look like a mouse. But like this part. But like only this part. Like only this small section of our face looks like a mouse. Everything else is giving like fox. Me too. Slept better than that hotel I stayed at in one time. I swear the sheets on that bed were the softest darn thing I've ever touched. Sounds nice. It was. Last night was nicer, mind you. Another silence between you now. He's flirting with us. Kiss? What? I'm playing. Or am I? I'm playing. You were likely both thinking the same thing, thinking about last night and what you talked about. Silence, because if neither of you spoke, maybe nothing would happen. Maybe the world would stop turning and the sun would stop rising. Of course, it still does. You can see it, charting its course from one horizon to the next. So, what's our plan? Joseph shuffled a little, legs restless. We kill Curly and Black Vulture. That's what we said, right? You nodded. Maybe we don't have to. We could just run away. We talked about that, Joseph. If we run, we'll spend the rest of our lives looking over our shoulder. We'll never really be safe. Yeah, you're right. Besides, have you never thought about it? Of course I have. It's not that simple, though. Everyone around him is loyal. It'd be hard to even get the chance. Even if I killed him, I wouldn't get away with my life. Even when I thought about it, thought about the ideal world where he got a bullet in his brain and I'm home free. There's nothing after, Kay. I could never see what would happen the rest of my life. It was blank. Why don't we just pit them against each other? I don't mean to be an asshole, but like, what if we just pit the two gangs against each other? You know what I mean? If the one guy's an ass shot, he'll get killed by Curly, and then we can just kill Curly, I guess. Question mark, maybe. Just a desert. If you were to kill him now, what do you see? Joseph looked ahead, thinking. The feathers on his face fluttered in the wind. Something, I suppose. Not nothing at all, at least. I think maybe I can trust that. Are we really going to be able to kill them all, though? I don't know. They bleed and die like anyone else. It's just hard to get a chance. At some point our gang's gonna go to Clemency and take us with them, whether we like it or not. I think we should at least try to use that to our advantage. Unfamiliar place for them, at least. What about everyone in town? They shouldn't have to be involved with this. They're already involved. We can't change that. I just wonder if any of them would help us. I doubt it. Do you think? You looked at Joseph and he turned to look at you too, his brow furrowed. Sheriff? You felt a cold dread wash over you, even in the heat of the morning sun. No, I don't think Sheriff wants anything to do with us. We'd be dead before we even crossed the town line, remember? I know, it's just... there was something about it. How Sheriff was when we were told to leave. I don't know if I fully believed it. Sorry, Joseph, I think that's just wishful thinking. Hey, you listen to me now. I ain't making it up. His voice was suddenly sterner, the timidness that had been in his voice now long gone. I'm telling you, Sheriff. I don't think Sheriff wanted to tell us to leave. There was something far too sad about it. You saw it too, right? I'm not just imagining it. I didn't see anything, because I read those lines, and I did not do that, so. I didn't do that at all. You thought back, and it had hurt too much to dwell on it now, but now that you thought about it, you had to agree. It wasn't like the other times when you had been exiled or barred from places. There was anger, but there was also frustration, disappointment. That wasn't normal. You might be right. Even so, I don't think we can go waltzing back into Clemency and expect Sheriff to welcome us with open arms. We still don't have a plan. And I think we need to talk to Sheriff. Even if we don't have a plan, Sheriff needs to know what's coming. Yeah, you're right. I just don't know how. We need to get to Sheriff without being seen, ideally. I don't want to risk getting shot, however unlikely. Without being seen. You set your coffee down, getting up and walking to the edge of the cliff. You didn't need binoculars to see the shape of the town from here. How the land moved and shallowed down towards the buildings. You looked along the cliff in the opposite direction to where you'd gone yesterday. Hey, Joseph. I think if we ride our horses this way, we can maybe get to town from the back. Sheriff's office is at the back of the town there. If we surrender ourselves, we might get to talk to the sheriff. Joseph got up from where he was and walked over to you, looking along the cliff where you were pointing, sipping his coffee. Yeah, that could work. What, not a fan of the idea? Oh, no, we can do that. This coffee's just mighty vile. He held up the cup over the edge and tipped it upside down, the brown sludge falling to the sand below. Let's get going. We don't have much time, for both of us will be needing to head back to our gangs. Yeah, of course. Oh. You took one last look at the cliff face and then started helping Joseph clear up the camp, making haste to get on your horses. On your high horses. Don't laugh, it wasn't funny. You rode as quick as you could down the cliff face, taking a long route around the back of town. Climbing off your horses, you tied them up and out of sight behind the rocky outcropping. You started your cautious walk on the edge of town together, cautious about being spotted. Sheriff's office was right in front of you, the squat building backing up onto the side of the desert. 2 square windows were cut into the face of the building. Holes in the frames were far framed from where bars once were. As you got closer, you listened out for anything that might tell you where the sheriff was. The rhythmic tapping of wood carried on the wind to you from the front porch. Carefully, you and Joseph's... I've never known how to say this word. Sidled? Whatever. Up to the building. Sticking close to the side, you shuffled along the stone wall, cold in the shade. At the edge, you slowly peek your head out, squinting through the morning sun. Sheriff was still sitting on the porch outside, looking into the town, cane tapping idly on the wooden boards. He hadn't been noticed yet. You pulled your head back and nodded to Joseph, him nodding back in turn. You both drew your guns backs to the wall and called out, "Sheriff?" You hear the panic shuffling of someone getting out of their chair and the cocking of their gun. "Who goes there?" "It's us, Sheriff. Joseph and Kay. We mean you no harm." As you hear the sheriff's footsteps coming towards you around the corner, you both put your hands up, guns hanging limply by the fingertips. You step back from the building and out of the shade as Sheriff comes to face you, a gun loosely pointed in your direction. "What am I looking at here? Why are you back? Are you surrendering?" Yeah, kinda. Sheriff, we need to talk. For real this time." "Oh, yeah? And I'm supposed to believe that any collywobble... and I'm supposed to believe any collywobble you say now, am I?" "No, we know we betrayed your trust. We lied about why we were here, but we didn't want to lie about the danger to the town. We're asking you for a chance to explain ourselves." Sheriff's brows were furrowed. You could see that even under the tough and scaled skin. A few moments of silence passed between you. Sheriff holsters the gun slowly and calmly, the click of it uncocking, letting you breathe freely again. "Come into the office, then, if we have things to discuss." You gave each other a look of relief as Sheriff turned to walk back. You put your guns away as well and followed the lizard around. Hey, he believes us, I guess. Well, actually, we haven't told him anything yet. I don't think there's anything to really, believe. The office was darker inside than yesterday, the morning sun not quite shining in the same way. Sheriff stood with both hands on the cane, curious and stern, still untrusting. "So, boys, what do we need to talk about?" You look at Joseph, and he met your eyes. They were darting about in the small way they do, even when you're focusing on a point. He gave you a little wink. That was all you needed. Yesterday, when we told you about those outlaws heading here, that wasn't a lie. Or I guess it was a white lie. Our gangs know about this place, and they're gonna be coming here, gold or not. So you were scouting the town out. Makes sense. Still, I don't see what's stopping you from lying about this town. You both know we can't do much to defend ourselves from a whole gang. So frankly, if I'm picking up what you're putting down, and you don't want to hurt us, then just lie to them. Tell them we're armed to the teeth, scare them off, and they won't be stupid enough to still try. I guess we could, but what? Look, I appreciate you trying to come back and clean and help somehow, but this ain't our business, you see. It's not one gang, it's two. I'm from the Curly Wolf gang, and I'm from the Black Vultures. You're from two different gangs? Well, I'll be damned. You seem so friendly with each other. The thing is, Sheriff, we don't want to work for him anymore. Curly Wolf and Black Vulture. We want to kill him. We need each other's help to do that, and we can't do it alone, you see. Your heart was beating fast in your chest. Saying it out loud, saying it to the sheriff, changed things. Before you could convince yourself otherwise, you took Joseph's hand in yours, squeezing it tight as you stood next to him. Whoa, that was fast. Why did I read it that fast? I need to chill. Sometimes, head empty, space behind. Sometimes I'm at work and I'm talking, and I'm going through like my script or whatever, and I'm like, damn, I'm talking fast as fuck. And then I get my confirmation because they'll go, what? So I realized that when I first started recording, is that I talk really quiet and super duper fast. And I'm like, oh my god, I need to chill. I need to calm down. I talk too fast. Yeah, besides, there's no guarantee that we'd be able to convince them not to come here, even if we did lie to them. We need your help too, Sheriff. Sheriff's face remained stern, or maybe concerned, he thought. Eyebrows flat across the eyes, thinking, you boys sure about this? This is what you have to do? Yeah. Joseph's hand moved, ensuring the grip of his fingers interlocked with yours. Psh, getting a little old for things like this, but alright. I can't in good conscience endanger the people of this town, but I think I might be able to help. Sheriff got up and started pacing. So your two gangs, they're gonna come here. Yeah, I know Curly Gang will for sure. Black Vulture's bored, and I can tell. He's itching to do something. Any history between them? Any scuffles? Would they fight or make a truce if they met? Black Vulture said before he'd fight Curly Wolf, but I don't know if Curly even knows he exists. Curly Wolf wouldn't work for another gang unless he had to. I don't think he'd give up this place so easily. Seems to me like them meeting would be beneficial to your goals, don't you agree? I'm so fucking smart, that's what I just said. A fight between them would be chaotic, but maybe that's what we need. Someone might even finish them off for us. It would be dangerous for us, though, too. Well, now hold on. When do the lookouts get caught in the scuffle? Almost never unless we start it. If anything, we should be one of the safest ones of the bunch. You're right. If you can delay their arrivals, then I might have a solution for you. Clemency gets supplies monthly. They arrive by train about a day and a half's ride from here. That's where the nearest station is. Since it's a whole town's supplies, the trip is long, everyone in Clemency goes in a wagon together. Easiest and safest for all of us. As luck would have it, that's in 3 days. So the town will be completely empty. Not a soul, I can guarantee that. We'll ride early in the morning and ain't back till the next day. You get your gangs here on that day, you do what you need to do. Best I can come up with on short notice. That could work. Not like we have any other plan, and anything could happen, but it's better than nothing. Things were happening so fast. Sheriff really wanted to help. This was incredible. Was this really happening? Was this something you could do? 3 days, right? We both need to be here in 3 days? Yep. Do you think you can do that? I think we can. Joseph looked at you, both of you holding each other's hands tighter. We have to. Good. And thank you for trusting me with this. You took a real gamble coming back here. No, thank you, Sheriff, really and truly. I hope to see you again when this is over. God willing, you'll make good on that promise. For sure. And I think we need to both get going now. We'll be expected back today. Yeah, we need to start riding soon. Godspeed then, both of you. Keep yourselves safe. You felt sick to your stomach and light on your feet. You nodded at Sheriff and left, still holding Joseph's hand. Hey, let's go! Back with your horses, you made a last-minute check on both of your bags, ensuring everything was secure for the long trip back. 3 days from now you'd be back, both of you. Some part of you dreaded needing to start this journey, lingering on the feeling of standing here, not moving. So much had changed since you got here. Now you might be risking it all. Doesn't feel fair. The idea of losing something you only just got the chance for. You shoved it down, though. The ride back was long, and you didn't need that kind of worry gnawing at your heart. Pity for you that every time you saw his face, even a glance as you checked your saddle, it all came rising to the top once more. Like a drowning man pushed under the waves, breaching for the surface again as he refused to sink. I think I'm all ready. Me too. Joseph stood by your side now, waiting for you to turn and look at him. You contemplated just getting into the saddle and not lingering for longer than you had to. He felt the light touch of his hand on your shoulder, twisting and pressing your face. Now over his shoulder, arms clinging around his side. You were holding him before you could think. The way that I got really confused by that sentence. It was so cute. They're so cute. I'm just gonna kill myself. Wow, they're so titty Cody. Wow, it's so unfair. I love them. They're so cute. Wow. The art style is so cutie. Joseph said nothing. He did nothing, too, for a moment, until you felt the weight of his arms on your back, tightly clinging to you. Your hand took a great fistful of his clothes between your fingers where they lay, and as you held him tighter, he squeezed you even more. You wouldn't care right now if he squeezed you hard enough to break a rib. Feathers on his neck tickled your face and poked your closed eyes. You could feel the way his back bent as he leaned ever so slightly over you. You don't know how long the hug lasted, but eventually you let go. You could feel the imprints on your skin from where the hardness of his clothes, his buttons, his belt had dug into you. Still, you didn't mind. He held you still, facing each other, holding each other's arms and looking at each other. Up. Joseph's eyes flickered around your face and to the top of your head, holding his gaze there for a moment before leaning in. You felt the gentle prod of his beak on your scalp, the sharp edges tugging at your fur. He preened through a few more times, pulling gently and spitting the loose hairs to the side. Done, he pulled back, his face a little sheepish. There, that's better. Need to look your best for when you get back. Go back. Sorry. Thought your mama said it was impolite to use your beak, Well, she's not here. Besides, I think you fit that, criteria. Wait, what were the criteria? Family or, lovers or whatever? Cass! Who said that? Guys, be respectful! Sorry, I think I'm funny. Your cheeks were hot and flushed with what felt like all the blood in your body. You were sure you could see the same under his feathers. I'll see you in 3 days here. Yeah. We'll kill those bastards. Yeah. You nodded. His hand trailed your arm as he walked away to his horse. You got up to your saddle, too, the reins familiar in your hands. Joseph trotted his horse around alongside, facing the opposite way. Well, partner, it's time to go. Wait, Joseph, just promise me if something goes wrong, you'll run. Promise? Killing them isn't worth it if you die too. If you run, I run. They ain't worth the effort of dying. You smiled at him with the same type of smile as when you left home. Weak and worn, but relieved all the same. Goodbye, Kay. See you soon, Joseph. Bye, nerd. Got him. You both... You both started your horses moving, gently trotting until you were no longer beside each other. You hear Joseph give a Kyaw! Oh, like moving the horse, got it. And the horse set off at a speed, kicking up dust into the air when you looked behind you. I was like, kyaw, what does that mean? You set your own horse into a gallop and the rush of wind in your ears as you rode out of Clemency, back to your gang, back to the man you were plotting to kill. Hey! Oh, hey, town. Okay. So, this is where we'll say. We'll start up this part next time. We're getting into tea. Okay, that's really what I, don't look at the time. Stop looking. Don't look at what time it is right now. Stop. Stop it. Don't. I see you looking at it saying midnight. Stop it. Anyways. I don't constantly record at midnight. Liar. Avert your eyes. Stop. You're making me nervous. Anyways. This game is so cute. I knew it, like, a lot of the comments on Itch.io for this was like, oh my god, it's so cute, it's so amazing. And they really liked the story. And you know I love a good story. You know I love a good story. So I'm having a fun time. I'm glad that they're going through the plot point of two gangs fighting each other for fun. Very, what's it called? Dude, it's that other Yeehaw-ass game. What's it called? It's like got Arthur Morgan and shit. Oh, Red Dead Redemption. Yeah, that one. It's very that vibe, I think. Gangs fighting. The Colm O'Driscoll. And what is his name? Colm? What's his name? He's not even the voice actor. He's just the actor. The actor for Arthur Morgan. He has an accent. I don't know where he's from, but he was like, it's not Colm. He's like, they made me say it wrong the whole game, and I didn't like it. I told them I was wrong, and they told me cry about it. Anyways, I hope you're having so much fun. Maybe as much fun as I'm having, maybe more. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!